Welcome to Family Care Navigators, the podcast where we empower you with the knowledge, support, and resources to navigate the challenging yet rewarding journey of caring for your loved ones. I'm Bill.
And I'm Stephanie.
We are thrilled to be your guide on this journey.
Together, we'll explore the emotional, practical, and logical aspects of caregiving, from hiring the right help to choosing the best care facility and everything in between. Whether you're a seasoned caregiver or just starting out, this podcast is here to provide you with valuable insights and heartfelt stories that resonate.
Let's dive in and navigate this journey together.
Welcome back to Family Care Navigators. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today we're diving even deeper into one of our family's extraordinary journey of love, loss, and resilience. If you joined us for part one, you heard the powerful story of a mom who cared for her son around the clock after a devastating AVM at just 10 years old, a journey that tested her family's strength and spirit. Today, in part two, we'll explore what came next, finding hope after loss. How does a family move forward after the unthinkable? How do you rebuild your lives and become stronger, closer, and more determined to honor the love that remains? In this episode, our guest shares the life lessons her son taught her, the unexpected ways joy re-entered their lives, and how the story is now inspiring others facing impossible challenges. This is a story of healing, legacy, and the incredible power of family. Let's step back into this journey and find out what's possible on the other side of heartbreak. Here's part two of our conversation with Tiffany Flanagan.
Owen came home from the hospital, and John and I did have to go back to work, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like FMLA only lasts so long, and we still had bills, and, we needed insurance.
Sure, absolutely.
So we both did go back to work, and there was a second there where we thought one of us is going to have to quit our jobs. Oh my gosh, but they brought a social worker in to the rehab, and she was able to kind of like navigate us through, what do we need to do now? Like, where do we go now? Can we get him on some type of waiver? So we were able to get him on a waiver, and we were able to kind of get some type of benefits to help us, because there's no way we could have done it without that. So we were actually both able to go back to work because he was on the waiver and because we were able to get home health. Mm-hmm. So he had a nurse at the house at least 5 days a week while we were working. That was our top priority. We need somebody here from, 8 to 5, so one of us can work. What normally happened, our time is we would have a nurse that would come in at 7, and then I would work from like 8 to 5. John would usually leave for work somewhere around like 1, and he would come home maybe, later around 7. And then after the nurse would leave at 7. It was our time. It was like, we're on. What does he need? These are the medicines he needs. This is the food he needs. Somebody has to change him. Somebody has to bathe him. Sometimes the nurse wouldn't be there for that. That was our time where we would take care of him from 7 at night until 7 in the morning until the nurse got there again. I would kind of take the first shift, 7 to like 10. And then John would take the late shift from like 10 until, midnight or 1. And then we had a baby monitor in our room that we would just listen to and watch him to make sure that he was okay after we kind of got him down for the night. And then somebody would get up and check on him, every 2 to 3 hours, make sure he was okay, flipping him, changing him if he needed to be changed. So it was kind of a little bit of reverting back to a newborn stage. We had just gotten to this place in our life where we didn't have babies, right? We had a 10 and an 8-year-old. We were on our way of doing fun things, because they were able to actually do stuff, and you didn't have to take a diaper bag and a stroller. So it was really like, oh my gosh, it felt like we were back to a newborn stage again. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I struggled with is that there was no end in sight, because he wasn't getting better, and we were going to therapy 2 or 3 days a week. We had home health, and we were not making much progress. And so that was kind of what brought us down a lot, is not seeing that progress like you would in a baby. A baby's going to take first steps, and they're going to have their first foods, and they're going to eventually be independent. And we knew that Owen was going to be dependent on us for the rest of his life. Mm-hmm. So
I remember the day that Owen got to come home. Mm-hmm. And the neighborhood just turned out in droves. And they line the streets and everyone's waving and cheering because Owen got to come home. It was a big, big deal,
Yeah.
because they really didn't expect Owen to get to come home, did they?
Right. No.
And so the fact that he got to come home and he got to be back in his place with his family in his home, it was a huge party here in the neighborhood. I mean, everybody was so excited to see him come home.
And the neighborhood, like the community, they're part of the reason why he was able to come home because of the outpouring of support that we had. We had a wheelchair van.
Mm-hmm.
That's something we didn't think that we were ever going to need. You don't save for those types of things. We were able to, purchase a wheelchair van for Owen. All the things he needed, syringes, briefs, chucks, just things, medicine cups. I mean, you would not believe the amount of stuff you need. The community, we did an Amazon wish list and we just had stuff pouring in. And the home health nurses were like, wow, you guys must really be loved. I was like, I know Owen's really loved. Like, so there were just things that we didn't know that we needed and everybody just rallied. So that was the reason why. If we didn't have those things, if we didn't have the wheelchair van and we didn't have a way to get him in and out of the house safely with a lift, he wouldn't have been able to come home. So the community helping us definitely was part of him being able to come home. And I'm glad that they were able to have a party in the neighborhood because of Owen, because he got to come home, because he wouldn't have otherwise. He would have had to been somewhere. So,
mm-hmm. And that's exciting. So you were talking about all the things, the supplies and all of that. You really don't realize all that you need until you need them. Right. And now there was an organization that you contacted for his lift and things like that. You found them online, did you not?
Yes. So, and these are things that I feel like you kind of just have to start talking to people to figure out that they're out there.
Mm-hmm.
So, as a caregiver, I was, talking to the doctors, therapists, social workers, noting every single thing. So he got on the waiver, which was good because eventually we were able to get that through. And then he got things automatically, like to the house, but it took us a while to get that through. So we definitely were thankful for all those supplies that we got, but they were limited. The waiver kind of kicked in. And then I started looking into other things. So there is a thing in Kentucky, it's called CATS, like it's assisted technology reuse. And it's this like organization where they take assisted technology and it's donated and then they either loan it out or give it to people. So it's great. I was able to go on there and get things for Owen. We got an overhead lift for Owen where they pick him up out of the bed and put him in a wheelchair. We got just different types of supplies like bolsters and different types of like pillows and things that, this would make our life a lot easier if we had this and it would cost X dollars, but I can get this used for free. They're willing to give it to me. So those are things that I think that I never would have found out if I hadn't, talked to people and, look into this. We were able to do that.
And there are a lot, matter of fact, we were having a conversation last night with some folks. There are a lot of resources available, but you have to dig for them, unfortunately. You do. You have to dig for them. The social workers at the hospital, the discharge planners, people like that, they can help you with a lot of that information. There are organizations that do offer tremendous assistance, but unfortunately, you do have to dig for them a little bit.
Yeah.
So
another thing that we were able to get was a grant. So it's called the Heart Supported Living Grant. It's for, people that are going to need some type of like support to live in their home. And it pays for like modifications of your home to make your home safer for that person that needs that care. So we were able to do things for Owen in our home to make our home better for him. We got him a shower, and so that he was able to roll into the shower and take a shower. That saved us a lot because we were having to lift him to bathe him. So that made it to where one person could kind of bathe him instead of two. And then we were able to get him a real nice big bedroom that we were able to navigate the wheelchairs around in. That grant really helped us with that.
Well, that's terrific. What do you think your biggest challenges were navigating the medical system? The medical system within itself is a whole issue. And then you were dealing with COVID on top of that, which is a whole other issue. You really had not had experience with this type of situation before. What were your biggest challenges, do you think?
Understanding where to go and how it all fits together.
Hmm.
When you're in the hospital, and I've never been in the hospital before, but to have the baby and you're so excited, you're not really knowing what's going on. So you're in the hospital and you have these doctors just kind of like rotating in, and it's like they're speaking a different language, and each doctor has their specialty. And sometimes that doctor that's the specialist here is not talking to the doctor that's the specialist there. So that was one of the biggest hurdles, is making sure as an caregiver and as Owen's advocate, right? Like I'm having to advocate for him, making sure if Dr. A knows what Dr. B is doing, because sometimes they might not know. And a lot of times too, I think we think that hospitals might have all the answers, and they're humans just like we are, and we have to, make sure that we're communicating with them and listening to everything that they say. So it was definitely, just making sure that all the doctors were talking to each other, and that was really hard. Getting them all together. I mean, we had to have somebody help us get them all in one room so we could talk to them all together. So at one point before we left, we had the rehab doctor and the neurologist and the neurosurgeon and all these different specialties kind of in a room talking to us, trying to help us what's next. And that was difficult.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel let down by the medical system at all?
Yes. Each doctor and nurse do everything that they can, because they do that because they care, especially the nurses. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh, we had some excellent nurses.
Yes.
And made friendships with those nurses that they cared for our son. But I think that there's just so many different hoops that everybody has to jump through, and just timing too. I mean, especially with COVID, like my goal with Owen was to get him out of the hospital whole. Right. But with COVID, like there are certain things that are considered, what do they call it? Elective. Are you serious? That's elective? So, that's another thing that I felt like down by. It's not elective to put his bone back in his head. He needs his skull.
Correct. Yes.
My goal was to take him home whole. And because of COVID, I couldn't. I wanted out of the hospital so bad, but I wanted him whole. And they're like, well, that's considered an elective surgery and we can't do it because no elective surgeries are allowed to happen right now due to COVID. I'm like, what? So we had to bring him home with a helmet and all those proper precautions of having his, brain not protected. I mean, I get that there were restrictions for COVID, but seriously, that's elective. That doesn't feel elective to me.
No, I'm with you. That does not feel elective to me either.
Right.
Oh my gosh. What would you tell families who walk into these experiences unprepared? I mean, because all of us would be unprepared. There's no way to prepare for a day like that. What would you tell parents or family members that experience this sort of thing?
Just do it. I mean, I didn't like mull. I didn't mope. I just rolled my sleeves up and did it. Now, I might not have had a good attitude about it. I might have cried. There might have been some, resentment of, along the way, but I did it. And and it's hard. Take lots of notes. Like we had a notebook. We took a notebook down, every single thing the doctor would tell us or the nurses would tell us. We took lots of notes too, to make sure that, we were doing the right things, and set a schedule. If you're a caregiver for somebody, set a schedule. We had a printed out laminated schedule that had Owen gets this at this time, this at this time, so that if anybody were to need to come in there, they would know, oh, it's 2:00. Owen gets this medicine and we need to do these exercises with Owen. So, I mean, that would be my advice is it's your kid, do it, and then set a schedule and just follow through.
Mm-hmm.
Lean on your family and lean on your community, and don't be afraid to ask for help.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, this situation is bigger than any one individual or two individuals because, like you said, I can just see Bill and I traveling for an emergency. We would be bickering. We would. It's what you do. It is. It's just what you do. But it's bigger than just two people. This you had to have a rally of people to come around you and help you. And you always were so good about allowing people to help you. And I think that really goes to your credit, yours and John's credit, that you weren't afraid to say, hey, we don't know what we're doing, or we need this, or we need that, and put it out there. And I love that.
That was really good advice that I got. And I can't remember who gave it to me, but it's like, Tiffany, let people help you. They want to help you.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't do what you're asking them to do, then ask them to do something else, you know, but let people help you. They want to help. They want to feel like they've done something good. They want to feel like they've helped you. Let them. I'm like, it took me a while to get over that because I'm like, I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need help.
Right.
No, that broke that wall down. I need help. And I was able, you know, to kind of get over that now. And now I feel like I can pay it forward, you know, like now I'm ready to, I wasn't ready to pay it forward then, but now I'm ready to pay it forward. You know, I see somebody that's sick. I'm like, what can I do? I'll donate to this, you know, GoFundMe, or I'll donate to this Christmas fund. You know, now I'm ready to give back where like a couple of years we weren't. So I feel like I'm able to kind of pay it forward now. So.
Well, you know, it's been a couple of years now, and you know, I think that's the way life is. Life goes on, and then you have to move forward. Do then what you can do. How do you think this experience changed you, your family, John? How do you think
it's brought us closer together as a family? I didn't think that I could get closer. At the time, John had been married 19 years when Owen got sick. I remember standing in the hospital room with him, and they were doing some type of procedure. And I looked at John and I said, I know this may sound morbid, but I wouldn't want to be here with anybody other than you. It's made our relationship stronger. What I've heard, like some of the support groups that I've kind of, it's either going to make your relationship or break your relationship. And I think that it's made us stronger and more respect for each other, for sure. And two, just if he says he's going to do it, he's going to do it. Used to be real big about, you know, are you going to do that? But now I know he's going to, because he proved it. He took care of Owen, you know. I mean, he did things I didn't think that he did the things that I couldn't do, and I did the things that he couldn't do. And we made a really good team, and we still make a good team.
Absolutely. So. Absolutely. Do you think it changed your perspective on life and on who you are and what the world looks like?
100%. I will never be the same person I was before Owen got sick. Before, you know, I couldn't say I was a happy person, sad person. You know, I was just living, but I definitely have changed, and I view the world differently. I'm not as cynical as I used to be. I think I have a little bit more patience with not just my family, but other people in general. And I don't view the world as negative as I used to. I think we can get bogged down sometimes with negative news, and all we hear is the negative, and we rarely ever hear the positive. I was actually able to experience the positive, and there are good people in this world. There are people that genuinely want to help. It just made me appreciate that. Mm-hmm. And it's also allowed me to give people grace where, you know, before I maybe wouldn't give some person grace, but now I'm thinking, what is that person going through that they're speeding this fast? What is this person going through that they just bumped into me at the grocery store? And I don't get as upset about those things as I used to, because, you know, everybody's living their life and they're in their own head, and you never know what the person next to you is going through. You know, road rage really bad. And now I'm like, just move out of the way. If they're tailing you, they could be going to the hospital with, you know, trying to get there before one of their parents, you know, passes away. Like, it's okay. And I never would have put myself in that place before. And I think that that's something positive that's come out of this from my view of life.
Mhm.
I want it to be a story of like hope for other people, that there is hope on the other side. And even though we did lose Owen, I think we're at peace with it. He's here. And I'm sure like
Yes.
your parents felt it. He's here with us every day.
Yeah.
I look at pictures, I carry him around my neck. I have his Christmas tree here, and
Right.
he's here. It's
Yes.
just in a different way. And,
Absolutely.
I don't think I'm ever going to get over it.
Oh, I don't
Ever.
think you ever get over it. No.
But I feel like I want to tell people there's a light and you are doing good things, and there are good people in this world, and everything is not negative.
Right. I mean, that's true. Exactly. And that there's life on the other side of loss.
Right.
And I think that is hugely important, because I think there are a lot of people that miss that part. They can't
Mhm.
see life on the other side of that loss. And, and that's what my mom always said. She was like, hardest thing that ever happened was for her to lose my brother. But at the same time, she said, I have other children, and I have to live, and I
Mhm.
have to live for them, and I have to encourage
Right.
them to live. She said, we had a life after he was gone. Well, Tiffany, thank you so much for being with us and sharing your story and Owen's story. And I'm so thankful that while his life here is no longer with us, his story lives on. And Owen lives on in so many ways. And I'm thankful for that. I'm thankful for the opportunity as a community to have known Owen, and to have know your family, and to see the example that you guys really have been, because you truly have been an example of what a family looks like and comes through on the other side. And I'm thankful for that.
Yes. I am too.
Is there anything else that you would like to tell our listeners?
Just if you are going through a stage in your life where you are a caregiver, ask for help and let people help you. Advocate for your loved one when they don't have a voice. And I know the advocation is hard, and you second guess yourself when you're talking to a doctor. Like, they're a doctor, they went to school for, 18 years to do this, but hey, there's things that they might need to know or not know. Question everything and don't be afraid to. And those are the things that I think why we were able to keep Owen with us longer than what everybody thought, is because we did everything we could. He never got a bed sore. He, was able to go places. We went to the zoo and stuff like that because I advocated for Owen, and he was able to live a life as full as he could during that time because of those things and asking for help.
And you should be very proud of the care that you and John gave Owen, because without that care, he would not have been with us as long as he was. And so you should be very, very proud of all of the sacrifices that you made. And that, I think, is what a parent does. So thank you so much for being with us. And I'm honored that you would share your story with us.
Yes. Thank you. I'm glad I could.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Family Care Navigators. We hope you found today's discussion insightful and empowering. Remember, you're not alone on this journey. Our community is here to support you every step of the way.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, leave us a review, and share it with others who might benefit. Visit our website and follow us on social media for more resources and updates. Until next time, stay strong, stay compassionate, and keep navigating with love. I'm Bill.
And I'm Stephanie.
Take care and see you soon.